Joining us now for a discussion on the just concluded BRICS is Professor BOLAJI Akinyemi, Nigeria's former Minister of Foreign Affairs.
If Nigeria has embraced and pursued that policy, we will be the one, in fact, who will have been determining the fate of South Africa, not South Africa determining our fate. What played out in South Africa is, let me call it spade by spade. Normally, I'm diplomatic in my language. South Africa has simply shown itself as an enemy of Nigeria that is determined at all costs to checkmate Nigeria wherever it gets the opportunity to do so. Whether it is the xenophobic attacks on our people there. Say South Africa thinks ahead. It already has its eyes on the election to the Security Council of the United Nations. Now it's got BRICS. It's got two of the superpowers on its side and intends to use that to checkmate Nigeria.
Hi everyone, welcome to Amagana Observer. Today I wanted to talk about a video I came across about Nigerian's former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Professor Akinyemi, and his take or stance on the BRICS meeting that took place, and how he's blaming South Africa for some reason for Nigeria being a partner country and not actually a part of the BRICS. So a bit of history about BRICS is that it was coined, apparently what I read was that it was coined by an economist called Jim O'Neill, who worked for Goldman Sachs. And he wrote an article regarding countries that have similar economies. And at that time, it was in 2001. So the countries that he talked about were Brazil, Russia, India, and China, which forms the acronym BRIC. So South Africa was not mentioned in any way, shape, or form at the time. However, as time went on, because South Africa has a similar economy to these four countries, South Africa joined, and then it became BRICS, which represented the five countries: Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Jim O'Neill would go on, I think maybe in 2013, 2012, he also coined MINT, which includes the countries Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria, and Turkey. Okay, so because they have similar economies. But my focus in this video is how leaders of Nigeria, how they speak about other countries, is what sinks into the psyche of the citizens, for them to be able to belittle other countries and talk down on other countries. So first, let's watch something about how Jim O'Neill coined the phrase BRIC to give us a better understanding of how this whole thing came about.
I never intended it to be anything other than a representation of the growth of important emerging economies, particularly China and India. Although crucially linked to your other questions, and a lot of people and observers that still write about what I supposedly was doing 23 years ago don't understand, and they obviously didn't read the paper. I argued that we needed to reform global governance to include them. If you remember, back in 2001, Russia was a proud member of the G8. In fact, G7 had become G8 because of Russia. And I argued that we should effectively have a G9 consolidate Germany, France, and Italy into a single representation, have the rest of the G7, that Euro representative, and the 4 BRIC countries, not including South Africa.
So, as we all heard, South Africa was not one of the original countries. It was not a part of BRIC originally. They joined later. So someone please explain to me why this professor is trying to say that South Africa is to blame because Nigerians are only partners and not part of the BRICS organization. Why isn't he blaming Brazil, Russia, India, China? Why is he only calling out South Africa? And this type of rhetoric is what propagates the intense back and forth between countries. So let's listen to what he had to say about South Africa.
Can you quickly wrap it up with a BRIC conversation for us? The fact that a lot of people say, hey, we're not invited by the BRICS doesn't mean that our international posture is not as great as it used to be before?
No. What has played out in the summit in South Africa is what some of us had anticipated as far back as 1987. I was the minister at that time. I warned Nigerians that the anti-apartheid struggle was basically over, and Nigeria will have to redefine its foreign policy and know that there are going to be competitors for its status. Nigerians didn't listen to me at that time. That is when I proposed the concept of medium powers. You know, BRICS is a variation of the concept of medium powers. Nigerians rejected my proposal, even though foreign countries that we invited accepted that proposal. If Nigeria has embraced and pursued that policy, we will be the one, in fact, who will have been determining the fate of South Africa, not South Africa determining our fate. What played out in South Africa is, let me call it spade by spade. Normally, I'm diplomatic in my language. South Africa has simply shown itself as an enemy of Nigeria that is determined at all costs to checkmate Nigeria wherever it gets the opportunity to do so. Whether it is the xenophobic attacks on our people there. Say South Africa thinks ahead. It already has its eyes on the election to the Security Council of the United Nations. Now it's got BRICS. It's got two of the superpowers on its side and intends to use that to checkmate Nigeria.
So ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Really? South Africa has shown itself to be an enemy of Nigeria. It's taking actions to checkmate Nigeria. And if elder statesmen make such comments, is it any wonder that resentment foments between these two nations and other countries like Ghana that such comments are made about? The elders, the words you use, because a government is a representation of the people. So when you use such words, how do you expect your people to behave? It's mind-boggling.
Brother, you know, comparing Nigeria and Ghana is like comparing Toyota Camry and Lamborghini.
That Lamborghini without fuel. Lamborghini without fuel.
The one who is there? You know, is it the landmass? Is it the economy? Is it the population? Is it the education? Name it. No.
Historically, Ghana got independence in 57 before us, not because they were better. We were taking care of home. We were the first African country that should have got independence. If you read the biography of Nkrumah, Nnamdi Azikiwe sent him to the university in the US that he attended after he had returned to to Ghana. Zik had been to that university, came here, met the young man when he was a media man here, mentored him to that university, and he came back. That rivalry has been there because we don't tell them the truth. They don't know. Historically, there is that rivalry. It's sibling rivalry. But the truth is that it's a rivalry between an elder brother and a younger brother.
And whether you like it or not, Ghana is the elder sister because we got independence in 1957. And you are a younger brother or sister since you became motherland recently by 3 years. You're younger than us by 3 years. So this insatiable, I don't know what it is, for them to always be the first, for them to always take the lead. And in doing that, belittle other countries, and then their citizens follow suit. Because these are the so-called elders. These are the so-called leaders. These are the so-called professors who should be teaching the younger ones. And that's why someone like Jarvis can come to Ghana and just spout whatever she said with no respect. And I have to say, a lot of Nigerians called her out, so well done. But as I always say, lots of introspection. A lot of introspection is required. But this is why. Because those who should know better just open their mouths and start spewing whatever. Because they have to be the lead in everything. And if they're not, then they will insult you, they will belittle you, or be just plain disrespectful towards you. So I found it interesting, infuriating, that a foreign affairs minister would be saying things like this. That a politician, senator, would be talking like this about a country, a sovereign country, who have a right to self-determination. So who are you to tell them how to run affairs? Yes, there's room for diplomacy, but you're not going to bully people. You're not going to push them around. You're not going to tell them what to do and how to do it. You can advise if they ask for it. And a professor or a lecturer who should know better, plotting against another country within that country. So these are my thoughts, and I'm going to end it here. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching. I really appreciate you all. Thank you for all the comments, good and bad. and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.